Very good morning, everybody, for Monday, the 22nd of November. Another complex day, another complex wind direction, and we throw more sort of difficulties in the mix today with the runway, our runway being closed for urgent runway repairs. So that's why this is running late. We are just trying to coordinate to work out a way we can actually fly. Okay, high pressure is out in the Atlantic still, and it's in that classic setup that we get for the sort of South Downs Ridge, where we're sort of to the east of that, and we start picking up this sort of stronger northeasterly flow. Notice the direction it's coming from though, up towards Scandinavia and Iceland. So it is very chilly, definitely a frost on the ground this morning and on top of roofs. And it's going to stay fairly northerly for most of the week actually. Slackening off a bit tomorrow before a front sort of comes our way potentially for Wednesday, and maybe a bit more of a northerly flow again as another very high pressure sets up in the Atlantic. Hopefully that'll block some of the weather systems, giving us some settled weather, but maybe the chance of some mist and some fog. Those winds, well, yesterday they were due north with a touch of east, and thanks to those that put up with the rather unusual setup we used yesterday, it did work in the end. But for today, that wind has come around a little bit further. Not to the extent that the ridge shouldn't work, but it's certainly towards the eastern limits now of it. And looking across the wind charts, that's fairly consistently saying that we're going to see a northeasterly sort of drift at sort of 20 to 25 knots. Satellite picture, well, we don't get to see too much at the moment because as you can see over the UK, there's nothing really significant. It should be a nice, bright, sunny day with no particular issues. No significant weather, no reduction in visibility, and hopefully no showers. And the public forecast agrees with that as well. Looking at this, expecting today to see sort of a 12 to 13 knots northeasterly. Temperature's not getting above 8 degrees, but should be a glorious crisp day with nice visibility. That temperature reflects well with what we've got here of around sort of 7 or 8 degrees, and same with the dew points, which are down to about 2s and 3s. Certainly at the moment, it feels like about -5 outside, although it's closer to 0 currently. Odium is reporting sort of 330 at 6 knots. Cav OK, and no SIG at the moment, so no change there. They're saying northerly winds, a few clouds at 2,500 feet. Look at Farnborough, just see what they've got. They've got northwesterlies as well, actually, at the moment, sort of 310 at 5 knots, and again, no cloud detected. And a few at 3,000 feet, with 010 at 7 knots. Gatwick, sort of showing similar for those going down to the ridge. Quite a lot of north in the wind, so perhaps not quite as much as the forecast suggests here in terms of easterly. Soaring wise, well, we know we're good for hill soaring and maybe the odd chance of a ridge-induced thermal, but I don't think anybody managed to soar back from the South Downs yesterday. Most people got an air to retrieve or towed back via their engine, but looking over this, we might see a brief thermal up to 2,000 feet or so, but nothing particularly spectacular. Better on the northeastern coasts than usually, which is despite the fact they got northeasterly. Looking at the NOTAMs, not very much today. Sort of Fairford's active, usual Solent and Farnborough, and Boscombe NOTAMs. On the south coast, there's nothing in particular, but Parham is open. Obviously, you need to pre-book if you want to base your glider from there. They will accept air to retrieves if they've got capacity. I think it's about £80 to tow from Parham back to Lasham. And a reminder that sunset today is at around 8 minutes past 4. So I don't really want to see any landings much after about 25 past 4 if you're coming back from the South Downs, because when I landed at that time last night, it was quite dark, to say the least. So that's the NOTAMs. Back at Lasham, we do have a bit of an issue because the runway is closed for urgent repair works. Now, what you're seeing here is quite a complex diagram, but it might not be the only solution that I have. It's just one based on the forecast of a northeasterly. So with this setup, given the crosswind, we're not able to winch on 09. So that's out of the question. So we have to think, right, where next? 0.5 and 3.4 are actually quite good at the moment because we've cut the grass. It's nice and solid, maybe a little bit dewy this morning, but it's not too much of a problem. As we look on here, if this is the setup we use, then the winch launch point will be down in the sort of southwestern corner, and we'll have the winch just on the edge of the runway here. That's because the works are taking place just to the west of the 2327 intersection. And my prime concern today is making sure that these workmen don't have cables flying around or gliders getting too close to them. So yeah, the main runway at all times today will be closed to gliders landing on it. So you can roll across the runway at the sort of eastern end, but do not try and line up and land on the runway. Yeah, that will be reported. Up here, aero towing from sort of the 0916 intersection all the way down towards the east before turning right down to the South Downs. Now, if this is the style of operation we're using, it will require quite a lot of coordination. It will require quite a lot of radio usage. And for the aero tows, they're going to need to make sure you do not start drifting over these works under any circumstances. For winching, we might have to put a ban briefly on launch failures as well, just to make sure that they are not unnecessarily getting close to the works. As I say, this is just one potential solution. I do have one for 3.4 as well, which is a little bit easier. In 3.4, we will bring everything down to the south here and launch to the northwest. But I've got to see where that wind is going to start coming from, because with 3.4, there is a risk that we could cable strike to Excel. So I appreciate your patience with this. It's not an easy setup, but we are quite fortunate at Lasham. A lot of clubs would just not be able to fly if this was happening. So yeah, we'll just have to adapt and find a way to deal with it. But yeah, have a look where the launch point vehicle is and where I put the fire truck, and that will determine which setup we're using. But at the moment, assume that we will use the 0.5 setup with the fire truck over here for aero towing and winching down here with the launch point vehicle. So yes, and for circuits, please keep all circuits for 0.9 on the left and 0.5 on the right. Should keep it nice and clear. And the center triangle should not be used under any circumstances today, because otherwise you'll be quite close to the works. So yes, hopefully by sort of mid-afternoon, they will have finished the works. There was supposed to be a jet movement this morning, but they've missed the deadline, so that's been cancelled. And yeah, I think that's just about all I've got to say this morning. Wrap up warm. It's been very chilly out there. We're certainly into the cold bit of November now, but at least it's nice and sunny and flyable. Enjoy the ridge. I'll see you on the airfield. Bye for now.